looking at 80-year-old Steel Stadium, which has had a little bit of a face removal this week. The snow has been taken off, and it is dry, cold, and ready for the regional as number 2 and undefeated Valparaiso visits the Mishawaka Cavemen on the 46th game of the week. How you doing, everybody? Alongside the Hall of Fame running back Bo Hunt, it's Chuck Freeby. Great to have you with us as we take another step down the tourney trail. Both of these teams won regionals last year. Valparaiso did it in 6A. And so far this year in 5A, they've looked like a 6A team playing in 5A. They have been the bully of the block.
Well, they definitely have, and it all starts up front, offensive and defensive line. They got some big guys, 300-pound guys on the offensive line, 2 defensive ends that are looking at D1 schools right now. But it all starts with their quarterback, with Opperman. He just solidifies that offense, and he can throw it at any time and even in cold weather as well.
The head coach of the Vikings, Bill Marshall, impressed with his squad.
We've been really strong up front, and that's really been a huge testament to our offensive line, our defensive line coaches, and also just the type of athlete that we have. We have 4.0 kids that are 6'5", 250 pounds. So it's every coach's dream, and we really have been blessed by having great offensive line and defensive line.
Mishawaka in an underdog role tonight, but you know what, Bo? That's kind of been their modus operandi all year. They only had 2 starters returning on offense, still averaged 32 points a game. Went over and knocked off Elkhart Central. So Keith Kinder's team really playing with some confidence.
Yeah, they definitely are. And I think all year they've been playing with this confidence, that ability to come out here and play it the Mishawaka way, meaning we don't care who we're playing. We don't care what our ages is or anything like that. We're going to come out here. We're going to play our football. It's the next man up, and that's what they've done. You know, Justin Fisher coming in at quarterback, only a sophomore, but he's the next man up, and he believes, I'm just out there. I'm just another player. I don't care if I'm a sophomore.
So what's the game plan for Coach Kinder tonight?
Well, we're going to try to keep the football away from them. We got to be good on first down. We got to get 4 or 5 yards on first down, get ourselves in advantageous down and distances in third down, and we got to take some chances. We're going to take some chances tonight. Little Les Miles gunslinger type thing because. You know, we're not going to be able to punt the ball to them on 4th and 3. We're going to have to go for some things, take some chances, and my goal is that we've got a 4th quarter game, and we've played more close games than they have, and maybe that experience will help us out.
All those things sound great, but there is a huge size differential in this game, and you can see it when you look at the 2 teams warming up. How does Mishawaka overcome that?
Well, yeah, they're definitely the eye test on the field. You can see the difference in size, but it's going to have to be determination, quickness, and ball control. Mishawaka's going to have to control the ball. We saw last week with Warsaw. First play came out, 18-play drive right down the field, almost a 10-minute drive. Mishawaka's going to have to do the same thing. Use that quickness, that determination, and sustain drives.
We'll break it down some more for you with our pregame show and the Jordan Automotive Keys to Win next on the 46th game of the week.
This is the WHME TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Interra Credit Union, South Bend Orthopedics, Bill's Heating, Jordan Automotive Group, Teachers Credit Union, IU South Bend, Electrical Workers Local 153, Crown Trophy, Imagineering Finishing Technologies, and the IHSAA.
Friends, this edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is brought to you in part by the Jordan Auto Group. It's simple, easy, stress-free. Welcome back to Steel Stadium as the Mishawaka Cavemen come out onto the field and greet their student body, getting ready for a duel with the second-ranked Valparaiso Vikings in this Class 5A Regional. It's time now to look at our keys to win, which are brought to you by the Jordan Auto Group. We'll start with the Valparaiso Vikings, undefeated on the year, and they're led by their quarterback, C.J. Opperman. The 6'5 senior is completing over 60% of his passes for almost 1,300 yards and 13 touchdowns this season. Defensively, it is a very diverse Valparaiso defense. There's nobody that has an extraordinary amount of tackles, but that young man, Cooper Jones, is getting offers from all kinds of people, including Michigan and Ohio State. The stats will tell you why. 6'5", 250 pounds, and a junior. And oh, by the way, his dad was a D1 lineman at Notre Dame. The keys to win for Bill Marshall and the Vikings.
The keys to win tonight for the Vikings, first off, they need to win up front. They got the size up front, so they have to win that battle. Don't give up big plays. Mishawaka wants to hit them with some big, quick plays. They cannot give up the big plays, and use all the weapons. They want to spread it around. They don't want to just use the ground game. They definitely like to use the air game as well and like to spread it around. The keys to win there for the Valpo Vikings.
Meanwhile, for the Mishawaka Cavemen, they like to run the option attack. It's been popular here since the days of Bart Curtis, and Keith Kinder has implemented it well. It helps when you've got a quarterback as talented as Justin Fisher. The 6'1 sophomore has rushed for 1,237 yards and 17 touchdowns this year. Last week against Elkhart Central in the sectional final, he ran for 136 yards and 6 touchdowns, and he doesn't have to do it alone. He's got a great two-way playing senior by the name of Donovan Snyder, 5'10", 175 pounds. Snyder has accounted for 1,088 yards of offense this year, most of that coming on the ground. And then he's also an all-Northern Indiana Conference free safety from a year ago with 53 tackles and 2 interceptions. The keys to win for Keith Kinder and the Cavemen.
Yeah, the keys to win tonight for the Cavemen. First off, they need to hold on to the ball. They cannot afford to have any turnovers in this game, so they have to hold on to that ball. Win on first down. They believe on first downs, offense and defense, they need to either hold them or gain 3 to 4 yards every time on that first down. And grit is it. They need to play a gritty game out there. Physical, hard-nosed football game.
The reenactment of the coin toss going on at midfield. Referee Andy Simpson is signaling that Valparaiso won the toss and deferred, so Mishawaka will take the football down at the south end of Steele Stadium. As we look at the series history, the first meeting between these two schools back in 1985, Valpo leads the series by a count of 5-4, even though Mishawaka got a win last year in week 2 of the regular season by a count of 29-20. That was, by the way, the last game the Vikings would lose last season until they got to the 6A semi-state and fell to Carmel. What a beautiful November night for football. It may not seem that way when you look at the temperature of 32 degrees, but the fact that the wind is calm makes it feel not all that bad down on the field. And I also like that other factor there, 0% chance of precipitation, because as we all know, that wasn't the case earlier in the week. Boy, they had to do a lot of work here at Steele Stadium. Mike Faulkner and his crew did a wonderful job clearing the snow. They had a lot of volunteers. Coaching staff was out here. Some of the players were as well, trying to get this field ready for tonight. And all that snow that was on the field on Wednesday afternoon, well, we come and take a look at it live here tonight. And man, does this place look pretty good compared to that.
Boy, they did a fantastic job getting it ready for this game. I mean, sure, it's kind of beat up down the middle of the field, but for what they started with earlier in this week to where they're at now, couldn't be more proud of the Mishawaka residents coming out and this school city staff here, getting this field ready to go for this regional final game between the Mishawaka Cavemen and the Valparaiso Vikings. Set for a great game tonight, and definitely going to have a big physical battle out there that's going to be ground and pound on the Mishawaka side, and on the Valpo side, it's going to be definitely a passing air attack.
Valpo ready to kick it off. They're in the white, Mishawaka in the maroon. Liam Shepard on the approach. Toe meets leather, and we're underway in the 5A regional at Steele Stadium. That's Mylan Burris taking the kick over at his 10-yard line. Reverses field a little bit, found a little bit of a hole, and took it out to the 29-yard line. So not a bad return by the sophomore Burris, and pretty decent field position for the quarterback, Justin Fisher. I knew I was going to do that at some point tonight.
Get it over with right away, right?
His brother, CJ, was a standout on this Mishawaka team a year ago, and now it's Justin Fisher at the helm for the Cavemen this year. Fisher, a sophomore, does most of his damage on the ground, completing 50% of his passes in the air, but only for 266 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Cavemen will run out of the option with Drew Mason, the fullback, lined up behind Fisher. And it's Fisher keeping it himself and hammering forward for about 3 yards on the play before Cooper Jones makes the stop. We'll meet the Mishawaka offense here in a little bit.
Definitely important for Mishawaka to get off to a good start here early in the football game, pick up a few first downs, move those chains, run some clock, get the confidence that they feel that they have in this football game.
It'll be 2nd down and 8 as the Cavemen look over to the sideline to get the play. And Mishawaka will take a lot of time off the play clock here. Their idea is to try to milk the clock as much as possible tonight. Play clock finally goes under 10 as Fisher lines up under center and pitches out. This is Ethan Fowler, and Fowler dives forward to the 35-yard line. He got taken out at the ankles that time by the cornerback Jack Cahill, the senior, making his 33rd stop of the year. Fowler this year averaging almost 7 yards a carry, picked up 4 that time, and sets up Mishawaka with a very manageable 3rd and 4.
Yeah, and when you look at this 3rd and 4, they're in the field position where Keith Kinder is going to go for it. So they're going to look for a type of yardage where they can pick it up on 4th down, try to pick up 2-3 yards here if they don't get that 1st down, and go for it on 4th.
Fisher keeps it himself, leans forward short of the 1st down. He got to the 38. It's 4th and 1, and the first big decision for Keith Kinder of the night. And they'll send out another offensive lineman and go for it here in Caveman territory.
Well, like we talked about earlier in the show, Warsaw did the same thing last week on that first drive. They had to pick up 3 4th downs, and so that's definitely what they're going to do here as well.
Mishawaka is 21 of 28 on 4th down this year. Snyder in motion, and Cooper Jones jumped, but was he drawn offsides?
Yeah, false start.
A false start on the Cavemen will cost him 5 yards, and that means that Mishawaka will send the punt unit out there. So a big change of fortune there for the Cavemen. They were all set to go for it in their own territory. Now they've got to punt it away, and this is Connor George coming out to do the punting, and he only averages about 30 yards a boot.
Yeah, one of the keys for Mishawaka is they can't have penalties like that. They have to hold on to the ball. Well, not just turnovers, but offensively well. They can't have penalties where they stop a drive like they did right there.
George with a high hanger that'll hit down at the 35-yard line, and on this sandy field, it's not going to go all that far. It dies at the 34. So for George, about a 32-yard kick with no return, and here come the Valparaiso Vikings out onto the field, led by their all-Duneland Athletic Conference quarterback, C.J. Opperman.
Sika USA is a proud sponsor of high school athletics and wishes all the athletes in tonight's game the best of luck. Sika USA, building trust one RV at a time. Go Caveman. Sika USA.
Opperman, 81 of 132 throwing the ball for almost 1,300 yards and 13 touchdowns this year. He hands it off to Tommy Burby. Big hole on the left side, and Burby is into Mishawaka territory, rolling down the field to the 35-yard line. So Tommy Burby takes it down to the 35 on a pickup of 31 on the first play of the game for Valparaiso. And it gives us a chance to meet that Valparaiso offense. Burby and Antonio Osorio in the backfield. Luke Patterson, the top receiver. The offensive line, the big story, led by Ben Scott, the all-Duneland Athletic Conference tackle. We come back to live action. It's Osorio on an end around, and he gets taken down after only a pickup of 1 that time. Antonio Osorio carrying for just the 42nd time this season.
Great recovery by the Caveman defense after giving up that big play, able to stop and win first down here against the Valparaiso Vikings offense. Big stop there.
So it'll be 2nd and 9 for Valparaiso from the Caveman 34. And they'll give it off to the tailback, and Burby is swallowed up by that Mishawaka defense that time. Derek Dawson, the linebacker, leading the charge. Let's meet the Cavemen defensively. Along the front line, Joe Willis leading the team with 5 sacks this year. You just saw Dawson, the leading tackler on the team. J.T. Thomas, another talented linebacker in the secondary. Keep an eye on the all-NIC safety, Donovan Snyder. It's 3rd and 9 in the first big passing situation for Opperman and the Vikings tonight. And Opperman from the gun looks to throw. He's got Patterson behind the defender, and he can't hang on to the ball. Luke Patterson was open, the top receiver on this Valparaiso team. Couldn't make the grab. It'll be 4th down, and more than likely Bill Marshall's going to go for it here in no man's land.
Yeah, what a great play there. Great defensive play. Got a little bit of defender cornerback there. Got a little bit of a hand on it for Mishawaka. Number 1 there.
Devon Parker.
Devon Parker, yeah. Looked like he got a little bit of a hand on that play, and great job because he was definitely burnt deep.
So on 4th and 9, let's see what the Vikings go with here. Opperman with time. Lobs it out there deep, and he's got his man all the way down. That is on the other side, Antonio Osorio, and he is stopped at the 1-yard line. Osorio with his 21st catch of the year, and the All-Dunlin Athletic Conference receiver comes up with a big play on 4th and 9.
What a great throw by Opperman there. Put it right on the money over the defenders. They didn't have a chance on that play. Just a great throw and catch.
So now Valparaiso has it 1st and goal from the 1. A man in motion, a direct snap. Osorio up and over for the touchdown, Valparaiso. So Antonio Osorio pumps it in from 1 yard out, and the Vikings strike first. A 66-yard march to pay dirt by Valparaiso. It only took them 6 plays to get there, and now they'll bring Liam Shepard on to try the extra point.
Valpo with the Wildcat offense on that play, direct snap.
Shepard's extra point is up and good, and with 7:51 to go in the first quarter, Valparaiso looking every bit the number 2 team in Class 5A. Antonio Osorio with 2 big plays on the drive, and he gets the payoff to put the Vikings on top on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week brought to you in part by Intera Credit Union, a member-owned credit union that puts its members first with mobile and online services that make life easier. Join in at interacu.com. Take a look at Antonio Osorio on the far side, his 9th rushing touchdown of the year, putting Valparaiso on top.
Yeah, and I'd say it was a high jump touchdown because the way he jumped over that offensive line, he did a great job of just running the line and surging over the top of that line into the end zone. Just a great job, great leap over the offensive lineman.
The 33-yard pass from Opperman to Osorio set it all up, and now Liam Shepard with the kickoff. Burris goes back and watches it go into the end zone for the touchback. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 20 for Mishawaka.
Hey, we'd like to thank Barnaby's of Mishawaka for providing dinner for our production crew tonight. Michael Lane of Barnaby's of Mishawaka is a proud supporter of high school athletics and wishes the Mishawaka Cavemen the best of luck in tonight's game.
So now Justin Fisher and the Cavemen have to come up with a response against this big Valparaiso team, and we'll see how they decide to go about it. On the first series, it was a 3 and out. Mishawaka was ready to go for it on 4th down, but an illegal procedure penalty put the clamps on that. Fisher keeps it himself on the option and picks up about 3 coming around the left side. He's brought down by the linebacker, Peyton Krutz, coming back from that dislocated ankle that kept him out, and a little hitch in the giddy up for Fisher.
Yeah, I saw a couple slips on that kickoff as well, and looked like he might have slipped and got out of sync there with his legs when you're running, and sometimes that gets your hips out of just a little bit of a placement, and you get that little hiccup there. Something you got to work out as the game goes on.
Only a pickup of 2 on that play. It's 2nd and 8. Looks like a little bit of confusion in the Mishawaka backfield as to where people are supposed to be lined up. Play clock down to 5. They give it to Drew Mason, the fullback, calling his number for the first time tonight. Mason only able to get about 2 yards before Dylan Dingman brings him down. Let's meet this Mishawaka offense. We've told you about Fisher. Mason, the 2nd leading carrier, well, actually 3rd behind Donovan Snyder. They don't throw to the ends very much. Ethan Sargent, a 2-year starter at center, right in the middle of that offensive line.
I think the biggest stat we talked about pregame there is the rushing stats for Mishawaka. Almost 300 yards rushing offense, and this Valpo defense, about 60 yards a game they're giving up. Something's got to give.
3rd and 6. They'll pitch it to Donovan Snyder. He wants to get around the outside, and look at the pursuit to the football by Valparaiso. Mason Maple, the linebacker, charges over there to make the stop. The honors student with the tackle, and it is 4th and 4, and this is a big call right here for Keith Kinder. So we'll meet the Valparaiso defense very quickly. We told you about Jones and Dingman, those big defensive ends. You've got Peyton Krutz coming back from a dislocated ankle at middle linebacker. In the secondary, keep an eye on Josh Fedorchuk. He's got 5 interceptions this year. And Keith Kinder decides discretion is the better part of valor here. He's going to kick it away and hope his defense can come up with a big stop.
Yeah, I think that's the smart thing to do here. You can't give them field position at this point in the game, down 7-0, give them a quick, easy score. You know, you got to get it down the field and get some field position here.
So 2 3 and outs. This punt takes a nice roll for Connor George, and it goes down to the Valparaiso 30. So that time it's a 44-yard kick for George with no return. And Valparaiso takes over with a 7-0 lead and 5:33 to go in the first.
I think Mishawaka did a pretty good job on that last drive on their defensive front. They really stopped the run game very well. In the passing game, they just threw it over the top on the one big play. So they just can't give up that big play on the passing attack, because you can see right there, C.J. Opperman, that kid right there, he can throw the ball for sure. I mean, when you're 6'5" and that size and have an arm like that, you can lay it on a dime out there in the flats.
And he did to Osorio on that big 4th down carry. Look at this little run by Tommy Burby. After he hurdled a player that was on the ground, Burby breaking down the sidelines, cuts inside, Burby to the end zone, touchdown Valparaiso. What a run. 70 yards, no flags.
Wow, just like that.
Tommy Burby with his 19th touchdown of the year. Look at that hurdle of a player that was down on the ground, so that's legal. And
he showed some great speed there and awareness as well.
Blake Worthington with a nice block to help free him there. And Valparaiso takes a quick 14-0 lead with 5:18 to go in the first. The Vikings have only had the ball for 7 plays, but they've got 14 points.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing was their first play on each of those series, they were able to get big pickups by the running back there, picking up a big yards on the first play, and then, of course, the touchdown there as well in the running game. So something that Mishawaka has to definitely handle is that first down play.
And the Valparaiso running game with Burby. And let's take another look at this run and look at the blocking that he gets here. You saw the young man yelling there. That was Creighton Schrenk, who had the kind of block up the middle that freed him. And then watch number 9, Worthington, get over here and carefully gets himself in position so it's not a clip. And that allows Burby to cut back inside and make the run. Burby, a young man, 6'1", 170. This is his 7th 100-plus yard game so far this season.
They definitely wanted to spread the ball around. They have already. They've done it on the ground and in the air so far here in the first quarter.
So Liam Shepard worried about getting leg weary here in the first quarter with his 3rd kickoff of the stanza. And again, this is Devon Parker deep this time. And Devon Parker looking for somewhere to go, and he doesn't have any room. He'll get it back to the 29-yard line. Mishawaka, not a team that's built to come back from 14-0 deficits. They've got to get something going right away.
Yeah, they have to this series. I'm not saying this is do or die right here, but it's getting pretty close at this point in the game where you need to sustain a drive right here, because if they give it up, they turn it over here quick, and another quick score by Valpo, it's going to be a long night for these cavemen.
So the line of scrimmage, they actually marked the ball back at the 23. They say that's where Parker went down, and that's where Fisher and the Caveman offense will try to go to work here. Welcome to those of you watching on the live stream tonight, sponsored by our friends at South Bend Orthopedics. We understand the signal might be a bit choppy tonight. We're working on that. And whistles blown before the play gets underway, and a delay of game called on Mishawaka.
And exactly how they did not want to start this offensive drive and first get out there and get a delay of game after the kickoff. It's need to get the plays in quicker and really need to sustain a drive here.
Keith Kinder did not think the moment would be too big for his team, even though it's a fairly young team. I'm not sure that's the moment that's too big for him. I think it might be Valparaiso.
Yeah, and we've heard all week here about how good this Valpo team is. And, of course, when you've gone to semi-state the previous year in a class higher, it shows you that they're definitely a foe to be reckoned with.
The pitch to Ethan Fowler, but he couldn't cut it up the field, and he winds up losing 4 on the play as Jack Cahill comes up from the cornerback spot. and makes another tackle.
If you're looking for a great mortgage professional, use the guy I've been using for the last 10 years. That's Kevin Putz of First Midwest Mortgage. Whether you're purchasing a new home or refinancing your current mortgage, call your local and trusted mortgage professional, Kevin Putz of First Midwest Mortgage at 574-287-1152.
Kevin's a good dude. Here's Justin Fisher looking to throw for the first time tonight. Airs it out for Donovan Snyder, but he is well covered on the play. Remember, there's no face guarding penalty in high school football, and Sam Carpenter was all over Donovan Snyder that time. Not in terms of contact, but he had him well covered.
Yeah, it's one of those, Mishawaka doesn't throw often, but when they do, usually a lot of those plays are wide open, but Valpo covering that play very well there.
Carpenter, a member of the Unified Track State Championship team at Valparaiso. They've also added a flag football program this year at Valpo in the Unified Sports. 3rd and 13.
Looks like Mishawaka's going to call a timeout. Timeout sponsored by Sika USA.
We'll take it as well. 4:54 to go, first quarter. Mishawaka trailing by 14. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you by IU South Bend, fulfilling the promise. Chuck Freeby and Bo Hunt from Steel Stadium in Mishawaka. Valparaiso on top of the Cavemen, 14-0 in this 5A regional. You're taking a look at the Valparaiso defensive coordinator, Sam Bernardi. Great attention to detail. He's been a huge influence on head coach Bill Marshall during Marshall's coaching career. Fisher unloads it. He completes it. The hook and ladder is dropped, and Valparaiso's got the football.
That was a completed pass and went for the hook and ladder, and the pitch was a fumble, and Valpo picks off the ground the fumble, their ball in Mishawaka territory at the 25-yard line.
Noah Beller with the fumble recovery. Burris got hit as he tried to lateral it. Now, if you had replay to evaluate this, you could make the argument that the ball was never really fully possessed.
Yeah, because it didn't look like he actually came down with both feet on that play, but we don't have that in high school, and it's Valpo ball.
So instead, Mishawaka will have to go on defense here as Valparaiso running the ball hard, and they gave it that time to Matthew Tomczak. Tomczak, a senior, picks up about 5 on the play.
Big defensive stand for Mishawaka. They really need to hold them to just a field goal here. We'll see what they come up with here on second down.
Here is the handoff, and they give it this time to Hayden Vineyard. And Vineyard, with the carry that time, picks up about 3 on the play. It'll be 3rd and 2. So Bill Marshall talked about using all the weapons. He's using a lot of people here in the first quarter.
Yeah, definitely spreading the ball around so they can't key on any one player at all, and definitely spreading the wealth. It's one of the things he talked about with us before the game.
Now Tommy Burby checks back in, the starting tailback. He's got Antonio Osorio out there with him. And it's a wildcat to Burby, and Burby around the left side. Burby still on his feet, going to the end zone, touchdown Valparaiso, or did he go out of bounds?
Looked like they marked him out at the 1.5 yard line.
Tommy Burby with a terrific run that time to take it down to the 1 yard line. He has 4 carries for 120 yards so far tonight.
They're going to hurry up offense here, get up there, run the wildcat again.
And the snap again to Burby, and he pulls his way into the end zone for a Valparaiso touchdown. Tommy Burby's 2nd touchdown of the night, his 20th rushing touchdown of the year. And Valparaiso is making quick work of the Cavemen tonight. Tommy Burby runs hard, makes people miss, and is explosive. Well, we've seen evidence of all 3 of those opinions of Bill Marshall here tonight as Liam Shepard's extra point is up and good to make it 21-0 Vikings.
Yeah, he's definitely been able to do all types of things out there, and everything you've said, being able to use his speed, being able to cut well, and be able to use his body and power as well. You can see a great SBO replay over here, the one that knocked out at the 1 yard line, just keeping his feet, using his blockers. Looked like from that replay he might have got in, but he might have just crossed it.
And then he just got a huge surge from that big offensive line. Valparaiso with 300-pound offensive linemen up there going against the much smaller cavemen. And they just shove people out of the way.
Yeah, and those big guys, I mean, they can move as well. They're not just big bodies out there. They can push you. They're very strong guys. And they've moved that line and got some surge this whole game so far. Still the first quarter, just 3.5 to go.
Hard to believe. 21-0. By the way, Marion on top of Knox 7-0. That's in the first quarter. And you had a Warsaw score.
Yeah, Warsaw's up 14-0. 3 minutes to go in the quarter.
East Noble leading Mississinawa 17-14. Here's Shepherd's kickoff. Devon Parker will take it back at his 6-yard line. Parker explodes,
Fumble.
loses the football, and Mishawaka gets on it at the 20. It has been one thing after another here for the Cavemen in the first quarter.
The caring and experienced professionals at Bub Funeral Home Funeral Chapel offers a range of personalized services. For more information, call 255-3126 or visit them at bubfuneralchapel.com.
So Mishawaka will have it 1st and 10 at its own 20, down 21 points already in the first quarter. Fisher hands it off, and they give it to Drew Mason, the fullback, up the middle that time. Mason, a member of the Mishawaka wrestling team. Boy, is he ever. He had a great season last year, won the regional. And he picks up only about a yard on that play.
Mishawaka still looking to get that first down and sustain some drives here. Really need to start getting that offensive weapons going.
2nd and 9. Fisher will keep it himself on the option, but again, great pursuit by that Valparaiso defense. Peyton Krutz, he dislocated his ankle against Griffith in the 2nd game of the season. Got his first game back last week in the sectional championship against LaPorte and played like a man possessed, as you might expect for somebody who had to sit throughout most of their senior year. Fisher picked up 4 on the play. 3rd and 5. Donovan Snyder snuffed out after a pickup of 1. And right now, Mishawaka just cannot get any offense generated. They have not been able to get past their own 37-yard line so far here in the first quarter.
Yeah, it's been tough sledding for this offense, and they really need to get a big first down here, because if they give the ball back to Valpo here at the 25 again, down 21-0. But of course, at this point, you have to get something going.
Well, they're going to try it on 4th and 4, or at least they're going to line up as though they're going to. Maybe hoping to draw Valparaiso offside. At this point, though, Valparaiso hasn't been given any reason to have to jump offside, and now Keith Kinder's going to take his 2nd time out of the first quarter with 1:37 left in the stanza.
Timeouts sponsored by Sika USA. Also think Pyramid Equipment for your snowplow needs. Their sales, services, and installation of residential and commercial grade snowplows, parts, and salt spreaders. Pyramid offers military, police, and fireman discount. Find them on pyramidequipmentinc.com.
A reminder, Saturdays mean college football on Pulse FM, and tomorrow, Tom Allen tries to do what no Indiana coach has ever done, get a win at Penn State. The Hoosiers and the Nittany Lions in a top 25 showdown in Happy Valley. The only place to hear it is Pulse FM's 103.1 at noon. Now Valparaiso with some veteran assistant coaches over there on the sideline helping out Bill Marshall. And let's see what the Cavemen decide to do here on 4th and 4. Backed up to their own 26. Fisher wants to throw. Donovan Snyder open. He's got blockers in front of him. Look out. Snyder up to the 50, and then a late flag comes in back at the 33-yard line. Hold everything.
That was a late flag on that block, so not sure what happened because the block looked clean at first. They're going to call a holding on that.
A holding call on Mishawaka. And Andy Simpson signaling over to the Mishawaka bench who it was. So that offsets the biggest play of the night for the Cavemen. We'll take another look here. And basically, they just tackled the defender.
Yeah, the other guy came up, and it was a block. All they had to do was block him. They had plenty of room, but the other guy did wrap his arm around and tackle him to the ground.
So Tyler Ackerley and Jarvis Delk both over there. I think they signaled the penalty was on Delk. Now it's 4th and 8. And Mishawaka still going to go for it? Nope, they'll send the punt unit out.
Yeah, just a long 4th down. At this point, you move the ball back another 5 yards from the spot they had it before. So it would be a long pickup, and looking at punting it here.
That's twice tonight that the Cavemen were poised to go for it on 4th down. One time they jumped and had a illegal procedure penalty. Here the punt is dropped but recovered by Valparaiso at the 47-yard line. And then the other time a penalty negates what would have been a 1st down play.
Imaginary Finishing Technologies is celebrating 60 years as the industry knowledge source for metal finishing solutions. 60 years of serving the automotive, medical, aerospace, and military defense industries. Go to iftworldwide.com for more info. Like the teams at tonight's game, we're working towards a great finish.
So C.J. Opperman and this Valparaiso offense, which has had its way in the early going, line up, and Opperman throws out in the flat. He's got Osorio again, and Osorio takes it up to the 40-yard line, a pickup of 14 on the play, and a Valparaiso 1st down. And really, there has not been one thing that the Vikings have not been good at tonight.
No, they've been picking up huge chunks of yards on 1st down, and that's really been setting this offense up.
Valparaiso has been burying teams this year. They've only had one game decided by less than 17. They're up by 21 here in the 1st. They give it off to the running back, and finally, brought down by the shirt is Hayden Vineyard, the sophomore running back, and Vineyard picks up only about 3 on the play.
Yeah, and they barely hung on to him just by his shirt. It looked like they ripped his shirt at the top there. But, yeah, he come around that corner, and if they wouldn't have grabbed that shirt, he might have been gone as well.
He had 116 yards in their win over Chesterton this year. They send Osorio in motion, but that's just to deceive from giving it off again. This is Tomzak on the carry, and he's dragged down by the shirt at the 21-yard line. The touchdown-saving tackle made by Devin Jimenez. But another 1st down for Valparaiso. But a flag called against the Vikings. It's a holding penalty.
Yeah, it's going to move them back. First penalty tonight on Valpo. Gives Mishawaka a little bit of momentum here, moving them back, making a long 2nd down here.
Well, at least a little longer. The penalty was far enough downfield.
Yeah.
That it only moved Valparaiso back to the 40-yard line. They're still looking at a 2nd and 9 here. And we'll see if the Vikings run one more play here in the 1st quarter or let the clock expire. Looks like Bill Marshall just wants to run the clock down. Why wouldn't he? He has had enough explosiveness here in the 1st quarter. Valparaiso striking early and often here in the 1st with 3 touchdowns. Antonio Osorio vaulted over from 1 yard out. Tommy Burby took it in from 70 yards out, and then Burby did it again from 1. And Valparaiso leads at 21-0 after 1 on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week brought to you by South Bend Orthopedics, the team physicians for the University of Notre Dame since 1947. Normally at this point we'd go downstairs for a Bills Heating sideline report, but not sure what you would say on the sideline about Bill Marshall's team tonight other than the fact that they're impressive.
Yeah, they definitely are. We kind of knew this coming in. Word of mouth was that they're really good. And looking at them out there, that they definitely pass the eye test. Size, speed, strength. They play as the team, both offense and defense, and they spread it around.
The pitch here, and they give it out to, I believe it's Tomzak, the big converted tight end who's now a running back. And Tomzak held to no gain on the play, so that'll set up a 3rd and long after J.T. Thomas came over and made the stop for Mishawaka.
A big thank you goes out to St. Andrews Products for making our crew look good this year. They can do the same for your school or corporation. Call 800-628-9922 or email at sales@standrewscorp.com. Your expectations become our standards, and our answer is always yes. Now, what is the question?
Opperman tried to scramble that time for the first down, but he is brought down by Tyler Rux after a pickup of about 4. That is not something that Opperman is known for doing. That's only his 16th carry of the season. And so Valparaiso, for the first time tonight, will send the punt unit out.
Yeah, that's one thing that Bill Marshall talked about was Opperman running the ball, and they didn't think that he needed to run the ball as much this year, and they definitely hasn't had to, but he has done that in the past years.
So Mason Maple is an all-Duneland Athletic Conference punter. 6 of his 14 have gone inside the 20, and this one likely will too. Line is scrimmage the 37. They're going to make the fair catch down at the 9, and so Maple does his job. 28-yard punt, no return, and once again, Mishawaka finds itself in jail.
Yeah, they find themselves down in a hole again. Playing that field position, Valpa does a great job. When you're up 21-0, you don't take any chances at this point. Punt the ball down there, make Mishawaka drive 91 yards to get their first score.
Well, for that matter, Keith Kinder would be happy just getting a first down here because they haven't had one yet.
McDonald Physical Therapy is proud to have Michiana's top physical therapist known for quality of care and patient focus. Remember, McDonald Physical Therapy when you need to get back in the game.
Devon Parker a little late get on to the field here. We'll see how Justin Fisher, the sophomore, can get things going here. Fisher threw his most number of passes this year against East Noble. In fact, he threw half of his passes for the season in that game. He's going to keep it on the option run here and pick up about 2 or 3 yards on the play before he's brought down once again by Peyton Krutz, who has been all over the field here in the early going.
Well, you talked earlier about there's no real guy on this Valpo defense that's really stuck out with a bunch of tackles. It's because they have so many guys that really step up and they play together as a team. It's just not one linebacker or one tackle that does that.
Although Bill Marshall did say that if Krutz had been healthy all year, he probably would have been far and away the leader in tackles on this team. As it is, the pitch and the reverse to Devon Parker, and it didn't fool anybody. Sam Carpenter stayed at home and made the tackle, and the all-Duneland Athletic Conference linebacker showed why on that play. He read his keys beautifully.
We've talked about this type of offense. We've seen New Prairie and Warsaw and Mishawaka run this type of offense. In order to beat this type of offense, as on the defensive perspective, you have to play your position. You cannot over-pursue, play somebody else's position. There's a prime example of playing your position and staying home.
So now Fisher put in a 3rd and long, looks to throw, lobs it out for Devon Parker, and Parker has it batted away on a beautiful play by Jack Cahill. Boy, Valparaiso's been fundamentally strong tonight.
Yeah, I mean, just a great pass there to Parker as well. Fisher put it right on the money, but look at that defensive play. Puts the arm out, he's not holding on, just a little bit of arm bar, and then gets the arm up. Just great defensive prowess there.
I mean, that was textbook by Cahill that time. Really did a great job of looking back for the ball, as you said. So Connor George will have to punt it away here for the 4th time tonight. Valparaiso will likely get the ball in Mishawaka territory here. George with a punt that'll be hitting down at the 42-yard line, roll into Valpo territory. Again, nice roll on that one, down to the Valparaiso 42-yard line. So that's his best punt of the night, 48 yards, no return, but still outstanding field position for the Vikings, up 21.
Yeah, good field position, but punting from your own end zone, that's a tough thing to do, and did a great job of getting the ball out of the end zone and not flipping the field, but at least getting it past midfield.
Tommy Burby tonight, 5 carries, 121 yards. You see his number 27 right there. Burby had a all-Duneland Athletic Conference season. If it seems I'm saying that about every Valpo player, they had 10 players on the all-Duneland team, and Burby showing why again right here. Running past people all the way down to the 39-yard line. A pickup of 19 on the play. He's now at 140 on the night.
Looks like he got banged up a little bit there on the end of the play. A couple of his offensive linemen helped him up, kind of jogging off the field there. Might have been his shoulder.
Yeah, Derek Dawson gave him a pretty good lick there at the end. And his offensive lineman came over to check on him. So 1st and 10 from the 39. Hayden Vineyard in the game, but Opperman's going to throw off play action out to Osorio. He's had a big night receiving, and he steps out of bounds at the 28-yard line, good for another first down. Osorio now with 3 catches for 54 yards on the night.
Get back in the game with South Bend Orthopedics. They're the official physicians for the University of Notre Dame, and they've been that since 1947.
It was Devin Jimenez who came over and knocked Osorio out of bounds. Jimenez, a 3-year starter for this Mishawaka team, but Valparaiso trying to get a kill shot here in the first half. The handoff up the middle. Hayden Vineyard still on his feet. Vineyard to the outside. Takes it down to about the 13-yard line, and another Valparaiso first down. 15-yard carry that time for the sophomore Vineyard. And look at the blocking that he gets, especially behind Big John Hofer, the 6'6", 300-pound junior who's got a 3.6 GPA.
It is a great job of just getting out of arm tackles as well. You've seen that a few times tonight where these running backs are able to keep their legs going and get out of those arm tackles where they got a little tight up right at the line of scrimmage, but able to break it big.
Now a direct snap to Osorio on the Wildcat, and he picks up about 3 on the play. I asked Bill Marshall this week in a phone call, I said, was your team at all disappointed that they weren't going to be able to participate in 6A? Because the reason Valparaiso got moved down, they're the 32nd team in 6A. Snyder got moved up for the success factor, so that forced Valpo down to 5A. And he said, to be honest, yeah, we would have liked another shot at Carmel from last year, but we're treating 5A just with the same kind of respect as we did for the teams in 6A. And you can see this team would have been good in any class.
Yeah, and when you get to this point as a student athlete, when you're out here, you don't really think about class. You just look about who you're playing out there. And you know, sure, they would have liked to, got maybe a little bit of revenge against Carmel if that would have happened, but, improve themselves as well. But they want to prove themselves here as well in 5A.
3rd and 7 now as you look at Bo Brown and that Mishawaka defense. C.J. Opperman coming over towards the sideline to get the call. The play clock already down to 11. Valparaiso is skewing the huddle here. Opperman trying to keep his hands warm on this chilly November night. Looks to throw, now scrambles, and Opperman up the middle takes it down to about the 3-yard line, and he looks to be a little short of the first down by about a yard. So Opperman with his 2nd carry of the night, and it doesn't seem like there's any decision here to make for Bill Marshall. He's going to go for it, even though he's got a very capable kicker in Liam Shepard.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to go up and do that Wildcat offense, do a direct snap.
Why wouldn't you? You got big Tommy Burby back there. And Burby just gets a lot of blockers on the right side and walks in untouched. That was too easy.
Yeah, just set up a big hole there, put in the extra offensive lineman, went to the right side there. The wide receiver kicked out, they kicked down, just a big hole, was able to walk in.
Tommy Burby's 3rd touchdown of the night, 7 carries, 144 yards. And Valparaiso sends Liam Shepard out for the extra point, looking to make it a 28-0 football game.
Teachers Credit Union understands the importance of growing your future. Whether you're growing your family, your square footage, or your business, Teachers Credit Union is here for you with financial solutions that will help you succeed. Visit tcunet.com to start growing your future today. Federally insured by the NCUA, they're an equal housing opportunity.
The extra point is up and good, and with 6:06 to go before halftime, Tommy Burby and Valparaiso look at the block that he got from big 74 Ben Scott. And the Vikings lead at 28-0 on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you by the Indiana High School Athletic Association, partnering with TV 46 for 30 years. Warsaw on top of Crown Point now 21-7. Marion with a 7-0 lead still on Knox. And here at Steel Stadium, 28-0 Valparaiso.
I just saw Hobart is up 7-0 on New Prairie.
Hobart has been playing very good defense as of late, especially in the month of October. Since October 1st, the Brickies with 4 shutouts. The region, well, they always seem to feel like their teams are strong this year.
Yeah, they
They
are.
might be right. At least this one that we're watching tonight, as the kick is taken by Burris back at his 5-yard line. Burris runs into his own man and gets tackled at the 20.
That's 10 on Burris on a return.
Yeah, we've seen some games like this come playoff time with some younger squads, with this Mishawaka team being one of those teams with some younger people out there. And it's one of those things where they really need to stay focused of what they do, play the Mishawaka way, go out there, play with some grit, sustain some drives, and they really got to get some momentum going here.
Well, Valparaiso, at least in the first quarter and a half that we've seen, is the most complete team that we've seen all year. Offense, defense, special teams. As Fisher pitches it out to Donovan Snyder. Snyder tried to squeeze through the hole, picked up about 5 on that play.
They remind me a lot of one of the first games we did this year in the Indianapolis Chittard against Northwood.
Yeah, that would be a good game.
Yeah.
Pick up a 5 on the play for Snyder, but Mishawaka still trying to get its first down of the night. 2nd and 5. Mason, the fullback, behind Fisher. Fisher keeps it himself and dives forward to the 31-yard line, and that's going to be a first down for the Cave.
Hey, that's their first down of the night, and now maybe they can get some momentum going here in the first half to really get something going. They've had to work for it all night.
Sam Carpenter on the tackle that time, but a very good read by Justin Fisher. And boy, Keith Kinder, who was a 2-time state champion at quarterback when he played at Jimtown, so I take his evaluation of quarterback seriously, says Justin Fisher is as competitive a player as he's been around. So you don't have to worry about him just giving up in this game, as Mason rolls forward for about 3 yards on the carry.
Yeah, I've seen Justin grow up through the years down in the Mishawaka Tackle Football League down there playing, and he was a beast down there when he was in 4th and 5th grade playing at a younger level, and definitely saw that this was going to be his future coming up and being the quarterback for this Caveman team.
2nd and 8. Double motion that time. Snyder tries to spin inside, and again, it's Peyton Krutz who is there to have none of it.
Whether you're purchasing a new home or refinancing your current mortgage, call your local and trusted mortgage professional and my mortgage professional. That's Kevin Putz, First Midwest Mortgage, 574-287-1152.
Mishawaka finds itself in the 3rd and long again. Boy, the Cavemen had been terrific at converting 3rd downs this season, but they have not been able to make one of these yet tonight.
A big 3rd down here, 3rd and long for this Mishawaka Caveman offense. Normally they're used to being in 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 situations. 3rd and 7s are a little long for this type of offense.
Fisher wants to throw, he's going to lob it out there. He's got a man, but he overthrew him. Ethan Fowler had a step on his defender, but Fisher put it out too far.
Yeah, Fowler came in. It looked like he got kind of pushed off of his route a little bit. Supposed to be more of a seam route. Got pushed off and kind of started running more of a post route there, and Fisher overthrew him.
So again, Connor George will come out to do the kicking. Standing back at his own 21-yard line. Valparaiso is not really worried about returning kicks tonight because they've just got enough confidence in their offense that they're going to move the ball. A little bit of a high snap that time for George. This kick will be fair caught back at the 31-yard line, and again, Great field position for Valparaiso. Why wouldn't it be? The defense has not allowed Mishawaka into Valpo territory tonight.
Yeah, they've just done a great job on the defensive side. I mean, let alone the 28 points they put up on offense. It's been set up by the defense for the most part, really limiting this Caveman offense to just that last first down.
Merrillville has responded now and closed the gap on Warsaw to 21-14. Meanwhile, Chase Ketterer completes a touchdown pass to tie the game at 7 between New Prairie and Hobart. And another edition of the Tommy Burby Show is underway. Burby working his way downfield. Burby all the way to the 25-yard line. What a night this kid is having. 43-yard pickup that time, and he is now at 8 carries for 187 yards.
They just do not have an answer for him. Here you can see just a little handoff. He cuts it, goes through and cuts it to the outside through that first layer of D, and doesn't look like he's running fast, but you know he's got some speed there because they can't catch him.
And again, he got a big block up front from Michael Boone that time. Now they'll hand it off to Hayden Vineyard, and Vineyard, spinning off tacklers, is dropped after a pickup of 3 on the play. Mishawaka's Nick Davis came over and made the stop that time, a fine high jumper on the Mishawaka track team.
Yeah, anytime I show up to these 46 games a week and I see Barnaby's, I'm like, yeah, thank you. We'd like to thank Barnaby's of Mishawaka for feeding our crew tonight. They always do a great job. Michael Lane and the Barnaby's of Mishawaka is a proud supporter of high school athletics and wishes the Mishawaka Cavemen the best of luck in tonight's game.
Michael was very helpful delivering stuff tonight. Direct snap here, and it comes to Tom Zach, and Tom Zach runs it up to about the 18-yard line. Pickup of 4 on the play for Tom Zach. Valparaiso has been utilizing its backfield well, helping to keep Burby fresh. But boy, there's no doubt when he's on the field, he kind of literally and figuratively stands head and shoulders above any other running back they have. And this direct snap to Osorio this time got a block from Burby, and Osorio picks up the first down, taking it down to the 12-yard line for a pickup of 6 on the play.
Yeah, they definitely have a lot of weapons, and they like to spread it around. That's what's big with that offense. They got some smaller guys with a lot of speed. They got some bigger guys that can run over some guys with some speed as well. They can mix and match and get some different guys in there.
Well, Valparaiso, the veteran Hall of Famer Paul Condrey was telling us before the game, they probably had as many first downs per game as any team he's ever covered up in the region. Flags thrown and whistles blown here. Andy Simpson with the call of a false start here on Valparaiso. A rare mistake by the Vikings. Andy working with Chuck Gardner, Don Carnegie, Kevin Mikesell, and David Herbert. Actually, they're carrying him tonight most of the time. That's what they told me before the game.
I think that's what Andy would say as well.
Great crew from up in the region. They've worked state championship games before. Andy was working a basketball game last night over in South Bend with St. Joe and New Prairie. Direct snap, it's Burby again, off the right side. Burby working his way to the end zone. Snyder finally spins him down at the 5-yard line. And Tommy Burby picks up another 12 yards on that play. 9 carries, 199 yards. Look at the blocking again. Big 74, Michael Boone moving people out of the way that time.
Yeah, big pickup by Burby there. Get a penalty, move you back to 1st and 15, and then you get to 2nd and short just on 1 carry. Just a great job of reading the hole and getting through it.
So 2nd down and 2. Line of scrimmage is the 5. They'll go Wildcat again. This time it's Tom Zach off the right side for the the Valparaiso touchdown. And now Valparaiso an extra point away from putting us into a running clock situation for the rest of the game.
Sika USA is a proud sponsor of high school athletics and wishes all the athletes in tonight's game the best of luck. Sika USA, building trust 1 RV at a time. Go Cavemen!
So Liam Shepard on to try the extra point. And the Valparaiso Vikings have come over from Porter County and done a number here at Steel Stadium tonight. The extra point is up and good. It is 35-0, and this game will have a running clock for the rest of the night as you get another look at Tom Zach. And again, good blocking up front by Valparaiso as the tight end over on that side, Brett Otterbacher, was able to make the block. Big old possum hunting moon hanging over Steel Stadium tonight.
Beautiful night tonight. Beautiful night for football. Not saying that for the Cavemen right now at this point, but they got to be proud of this team. Definitely got to be proud of this team.
Well, absolutely. They only had 2 starters returning on offense this year. And to rebuild it the way they did, and let's face it, the sectional that they played in was not exactly a cakewalk with Concord, Elkhart Central, and Mishawaka. Now, they were on the side of the bracket where they only had to deal with one of those teams, but they went over last week to Ricefield and beat Elkhart Central for a second time on their home field this year. I don't think Keith Kinder can be disappointed at all with this season. Yes, you would not want it to end the way it's ending here tonight. But Mishawaka has a lot to be proud of this season.
Yeah, just we run into a juggernaut like this Valpo team. Just they can do it on any way, offense, on passing or running, and they have a multitude of guys that can do it.
Shepard with a squib kick that time that's taken by Jarvis Delk, and Delk brings it up to the 36-yard line. Now, it's interesting they have not put the running clock into work here. The officials waved their arms to stop the clock.
Yeah, is that after the possession they stop it? Or I've actually heard, I've never verified, is it not till the second half? Is that as well?
Well, we'll see what happens here. From the 36-yard line, the pitch to Ethan Fowler. Fowler trying to get around the outside and does. Fowler up to the 46-yard line, close to the first down, a pickup of 9 on the play.
The caring and experienced professionals at Bub Funeral Chapel offers a range of personalized services. For more information, call 255-3126 or visit them at bubfuneralchapel.com. Bub Funeral Chapel is here for you and your family and wishes the athletes in tonight's game good luck.
2nd and 1. Now the pitch to Donovan Snyder, trying to come around the left side. Snyder had to wait for his blockers, and Peyton Crutz chases him down at the 50-yard line. The officials saying roll the clock, even though it's a first down.
Yeah, no, they waved it off on stop the clock.
Well, they stopped the clock up here, but the official down low was cranking his arm and saying
now
run it, and Andy Simpson
up.
says run it.
Yeah.
Well, the chains are set on the other side, too.
Yeah.
So this will be the final play of the first half unless it's an incomplete pass. Fisher is going to try to throw it, chased out of the pocket, and it's intercepted. The Vikings pick it off, and a flag for a late hit on Mishawaka. So Valparaiso with the interception that time, as picking off the pass for the Vikings is Blake Lemon, and that's his 4th interception of the season.
And it looked like they might be calling contact to the head by the Mishawaka Cavemen.
A personal foul, a blow to the head by Mishawaka. It'll be a first down after the 15-yard walk-off. And Valparaiso will get one more penalty. As you look at Lemon, and Drew Mason did make helmet-to-helmet contact.
They don't think it was egregious enough to eject him because I did not see any signal for ejection for that play. But Valpo will get the ball here at their Mishawaka Cavemen 45-yard line with just 1 second.
But they're not going to try anything
Take
here.
a knee here.
So C.J. Opperman takes the knee, and that ends the first half from Steel Stadium. A first half of complete and total domination by the Valparaiso Vikings. They scored early and often. It was like a Chicago election for Bill Marshall and company, and they lead at 35-0. Coming up, you'll meet our TCU student athletes next on the 46 Game of the Week. Halftime here at Steele Stadium in Mishawaka. Time now to join our Student Athletes of the Week. They're brought to us by our friends at TCU. Find out how you can become a member. Join online at tcunet.com. I'm joined by our two great representatives of these academic institutions. Over here we have Cooper Jones from Valparaiso. We have Rachel Gomez from Mishawaka High School. We'll start with the visitor first. Cooper, a 4.0 student. You probably saw him in that first half starring at defensive end. How in the world, with all the time that you have to spend in the weight room and in practice and playing games, do you find time to get that 4.0?
I mean, it's pretty simple. My dad says if you don't got the grades, you can't play. So, I mean, I just take care of school first, and then I know sports will follow, but I got to get the grades first.
Dad, a former standout defensive lineman for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, I'm sure was one of the people who instilled those values in you. Who else?
Definitely my mom and then the coaches. I mean, the coaches just preach. I mean, we got to get the grades. I mean, you're a student athlete. The school comes first, and if we can't rely on you getting your grades done, how can we rely on you tackling the fullback or covering your guys? So, yeah.
You have all kinds of people looking at you for college football, Big Ten schools making offers. What are you looking for from a school?
Really, I'm just looking for a school that has my best interest in heart. You know what I'm saying? Not just like, hey, we kind of like you, we kind of don't. You know, I want someone that's like, hey, we really want you here because we care about you and we think we can make you better. So that's what I'm looking for.
You know what you want to study yet?
I think I'm going to go into business. Yeah.
That's Cooper Jones from Valparaiso. Over here, we have Rachel Gomez from Mishawaka High School. Outstanding soccer player, so good that she was the Northern Indiana Conference Most Valuable Player this year, and yet you still find a way to get a 3.7 in the classroom. How in the world do you balance the time?
Well, I try to find time for sports, for school first, because as our coach always tells us, we're student athletes and we need to focus on our grades, and if we don't have the grades, we can't play. So we really focus on grades more than we do the sport. So
I know one of the things you're involved in here at Mishawaka is the food drive that they're doing. What inspired you to become part of that?
I know the past 3 years that I've been here, our food drive has happened, and I usually never really hear about it other than that we're collecting cans. And this year when I joined the committee, they told me that we really wanted to fundraise as well. So one thing that we've been doing is helping to fundraise and thinking of different ways to fundraise for the families that need help in our school community.
Well, I'm sure you've got a family that supports you. What is your support system like at home?
My parents are there at every game cheering super loud, and they love cheering for me, and they've been there for me all the time. When I'm down after losing a game, they always encourage me no matter what.
And you want to go into athletic training when you go to college. What inspired that thought?
I just love sports, and if I can't play professionally, I'd like to stay close to it in my profession anyway. So,
best of luck to you in your future, Rachel.
Thank you.
It's Rachel Gomez from Mishawaka High School, Cooper Jones from Valparaiso, our TCU Student Athletes of the Week, brought to us by our friends at TCU. Find out how you can become a member. Go online at tcunet.com. First half stats and highlights are next on the 46 Game of the Week. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you by the electrical workers of Local 153. They're making our community brighter. Halftime here at Steele Stadium, the Mishawaka Band entertaining the crowd down there on the track. Didn't want to go out on the field, can't blame them. Track's a little bit warmer, and they're playing well. Unfortunately, so too is Valparaiso. 35-0 over the Cavemen. Chuck and Bo high atop the fray. It's nothing against the Cavemen.
No.
This is all the plaudits go to Valparaiso. Bill Marshall's got himself a juggernaut here.
They're a well-oiled machine. I mean, just the way they block up front, the way they run their offensive sets, the way they mix the ball around for different guys and give it to different running backs, the way Opperman controls the offense as well, and then their defense just playing the position and not over-pursuing and not trying to play somebody else's position. They play their own position and play it well.
They've defended the option as well as any team we've seen this year. Let's take a look and show you how it got to be this way here at Steele Stadium. It won't surprise you, it's all Valparaiso in the highlights in the first half. Antonio Osorio vaults up and over for the touchdown to get the Vikings on the board, but this was the play of the half. Tommy Burby, 70 yards on Valpo's second possession. Look at him come back to the inside, get a block here from Blake Worthington, take it to the house. Burby had himself a heck of a first half. A turnover here by Mishawaka made things a little bit easier for the Vikings as Noah Beller pounced on the loose ball on the hook and ladder attempt. Burby slams it in behind that big offensive line. Jack Cahill swatting passes away. Burby walking into the end zone untouched. Burby had 200 rushing yards, at least that's what I had him for in the first half, on only 9 carries. Tom Zach takes it in for the touchdown there that made it 35-0. There's nothing here that's going to surprise you if you watch the first half. It is complete and utter domination by Valparaiso.
Yeah, and things really had to go right for Mishawaka in that first half. 2 turnovers, penalties on 3rd down, 2 penalties on 4th down as well when they were going for it. So a lot of stuff didn't go right. What did go right for Valpo? A lot of things, and especially Tom Burby, just a great job. And you know, I think the biggest thing was, 9 carries for 200 yards. That's 220 yards a carry.
That kind of reminds you of some first halves you had. Usually not at this level of the tournament, though. When you take a look at the scores around the state, obviously you kind of look at Cathedral New Pal and think, okay, maybe the winner of that game winds up playing Valparaiso downstate, because I don't know anybody in the north that's going to stop Valpo.
And we saw this earlier in the year with Chittard as well, and we thought, who was going to beat them, and right now they're playing as well. And Valpo, just a great team. They've played a great schedule, and they show us here tonight.
So 35-0 Vikings at the half. We're back with second half play-by-play from Steel Stadium after this on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you by Crown Trophy. They're nationally known and locally owned. Warming up for the second half, Valparaiso's Bill Marshall has to be a happy man over on that sideline, 35-0. If you're Keith Kinder, though, what do you tell your team at halftime? I mean, adjustments kind of sound silly, but you got to try something different.
Well, I would say, we got to score fast because it's a running clock. But at this point, I think the biggest thing is they got to just stay with Mishawaka football. They can't get emotional about this whatsoever. It's a 0-0 ball game. Go out there and win the second half.
Right.
Regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the situation, go out there, play our football. Seniors go out with pride, play our game, and I'm sure that's what Keith Kinder does.
End this on as high a note as you possibly can.
Yes.
So Keith Kinder, the second-year head coach, he's done a marvelous job here at Mishawaka. 2 consecutive sectional titles, 20-5 record coming in, but running into a buzzsaw tonight. Bill Marshall over on the other side. In his second year, he took over a program that had had an awful lot of tumult in the couple of years before he got there. And he took it over right before the season last year. Took his lumps in the first 2 games. One of those a loss to Mishawaka. And since that loss to Mishawaka last year, Valparaiso is, I believe, 21-1.
Yeah, Carmel.
Yep. So, by the way, they've really upped it a notch here in the tournament this year. In the 2.5 playoff games that they have played so far in Class 5A, they have outscored their opponents 149-6.
Yeah, and you look at this offense, you're like, oh my goodness, 35-0. But it's this defense just plays. It's tough to stop offenses like this that Mishawaka's running. But in order to stop it, you have to have a solid defense throughout. All 11 guys have to play their position, and that's what it's done all night. Anytime Mishawaka runs some type of reverse, some type of option play, some type of cutback, some type of pass play, some hook and ladder, they're right there every single time.
I mean, Keith Kinder has emptied out the playbook pretty well in the first half.
Yeah.
And they'll kick it off here. An onside kick attempt, and Valparaiso was ready for it, covering it up at the 47-yard line. Connor George tried to do that, but unfortunately for him, Valparaiso was right there. It looked like Nathan Kraft. And there you see at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen a running clock. So this is going to be a lightning quick second half here.
Yeah, it's already started right there with the running clock as you described. And, I'm sure Valpo is going to take as much time off the clock as they can.
C.J. Opperman hands it off to Tommy Burby, and Burby gets smacked finally after a pickup of about 6 on the play as Milan Burris came up and made the stop.
Started right where they left off with Tommy Burby coming right up the middle.
10 carries, 206 yards for Burby, and I wonder if that might be his final carry of the night tonight.
Just a junior.
Oh, yeah. Valpo's got some people coming back next year. Opperman fires over the middle. It's intercepted. Donovan Snyder picks him off. Snyder trying to serpentine his way through the Valparaiso offense. Finally taken down at the 35-yard line by Osorio. But Donovan Snyder comes up and pilfers a pass for the Cavemen, his third interception of the season.
Donovan Snyder's been doing this all year long. Just a great job cutting in front of that ball, picking that ball off. Great hands, good return. Mishawaka gets the ball and the turnover. First and down on the 35.
Now, the clock is ticking here, even with the change of possession. So Mishawaka just going to see what they can do here. Justin Fisher still looks like he's hobbling a little bit on that right ankle as he goes out to quarterback. And look how wide the splits are here for the Cavemen.
Yeah, they're spreading out a little bit, trying to widen those splits, get them some room, maybe get some angles.
Valparaiso with 8 in the box. Fisher keeps it himself on the option, turns it up the field. Fisher's got a first down sponsored by Above Funeral Chapel up to the 47-yard line. Pickup of 18 on the play, the biggest play of the night, and they're in Valpo territory for the first time tonight.
Looked like a late hit. Flag came in very late there. Looks like it might be after the play.
And now they'll stop the clock for the penalty.
I think they're going to discuss the penalty here. Well, while they're discussing it, remember Barnaby's of Mishawaka. We'd like to thank them for feeding our crew tonight. What a great job they do. Michael Lane and the Barnaby's of Mishawaka are a proud supporter of high school athletics and wish the Cavemen the best of luck in tonight's game.
So 15-yard penalty is marched off, which will add to the run by Justin Fisher, who has had himself a remarkable sophomore season. He is the 4th leading sophomore rusher in the state coming into the night with 1,237 yards, and he's added 35 to that total this evening.
Yeah, I believe by the time he comes a senior, he's going to be pushing close to that 5,000-yard mark.
So it is 1st and 10 now from the Valparaiso 32. Mishawaka trying to dent the scoreboard here in the second half, trailing 35-zip.
A lot of things going Mishawaka way here in the start of the third quarter.
Fisher taking his time, hands it off to his fullback, Drew Mason. Mason takes a licking after a pickup of about 2 on the play. Mason had himself a really big game with 3 touchdowns against St. Joe earlier this season.
Good pickup on first down. It's what they've been looking for all night. First down pickups like that. 3-4 yards on first down. Gets them in a manageable second down.
Mason 4 carries, just 9 yards tonight. He's a frequent visitor over to Cross Creek. Second and 7.
Mishawaka taking a lot of time on this play.
Play clock is down to 3. Fisher gives it to Mason again, and Mason plows forward to the 25-yard line. Pickup of about 5 on the play will set him up with a 3rd and 2.
Well, if you're looking for a great mortgage professional, call my guy, Kevin Putz. I've been doing business with him for over 10 years. He's at First Midwest Mortgage, 574-286-1152. Whether you're purchasing a new home or refinancing your current mortgage, call Kevin Putz.
Middle of the second quarter, Hobart up on New Prairie, 24-7. It is 3rd and 2. And Fisher keeps it himself and has the first down as he goes across the 20 to the 19-yard line. Good first series here for Mishawaka in the second half.
Yeah, I like the way they've come out. They've come out with a little bit of momentum here. There's Fisher just hobbling around again. Looks like he's going to go back, pick up maybe a hand warmer or something for his, look at his knee pad.
A knee pad. But yeah, he is really gimpy out there on that leg. showing a lot of courage staying out there on the field. Snyder in motion. They pitch it to Donovan. He wants to throw a halfback pass, but he didn't have anybody open, so he keeps it himself and winds up losing about a yard on the play.
Yeah, it looked like he might have been dropping back for the halfback pass, but I didn't see anybody downfield even going out for the pass.
Well, there could have been some miscommunication there on the play as well. You take a look at Keith Kinder on that Mishawaka bench. Keith was the offensive coordinator here at Mishawaka for 5 years under Bart Curtis, and now in his second year as the head coach. Already midway through the third quarter. Fisher calls out the signals. On second down, lost the football, and Valparaiso has it. Dylan Dingman with the fumble recovery at the 24-yard line. Dingman pounces on his second fumble recovery of the year, and the MAC recruit comes up and makes the big play here.
Justin Fisher never even got the ball out of the center. He started coming with it, and as soon as he started coming out of the center, the ball started coming out of his hands at that point, and it was doomed right from the start of that snap.
By the way, they're going to the fourth quarter in East Noble with a 23-14 lead on Mississinewa. The winner of that game plays the winner of the Hobart New Prairie game.
Well, the school officials here did a great job of getting the snow off the field, and if you need to get snow off your lawn or out of your drive, think Pyramid Equipment for your snowplow needs. Sales, services, and installation of residential and commercial grade snowplows, parts, and salt spreaders. Pyramid offers military, police, and fireman discount. Find them at pyramidequipmentinc.com.
Burby, no gain on the carry. It'll be 2nd and 10. We've got a whistle because we've got a player down on the field with an injury. And it looks like an ankle problem. That could be the tight end, Wes Sharp. So we'll take a timeout as well. 5:33 to go. Third quarter, Valparaiso leads at 35-0 on 46. Friends, this edition of the TV46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you by Imagineering Finishing Technologies. We come back to live action here at Steele Stadium, and another run up the middle for Tommy Burby, who goes up to the 30-yard line on the play. Pickup of about 6. It'll set up a 3rd and 4.
Yeah, Valpo looking to just kind of spend some time on this drive, maybe pick up a couple first downs, maybe get this down to the fourth quarter on this drive here.
Again, a running clock with the 35-point lead here for Valparaiso, and so Bill Marshall milking as much of that clock as he can on each play before they go up to the line of scrimmage. It's a national rule that was just put in this year. Here's the handoff in the backfield. Burby up the middle. Burby to the 45-yard line with another first down for Valparaiso. Pickup of 15 on the play. He's got 13 carries, 227 yards, and 3 touchdowns tonight.
Not hurting his average too bad here in the second half as well.
He had more than a crevice to run through that time. He had a canyon.
St. Andrews Products has joined our team with the finest in promotional products, advertising, specialties, business gifts, and apparel. Call 800-628-9922 or email at sales@standrewscorp.com. Your expectations become our standards, and our answer is always yes. Now, what is the question?
1st and 10 from the 45-yard line for Valparaiso. Opperman gives it off to Tomczak. The big fella trying to get around the outside, makes a nice cut and comes up the field for a pickup of 15. What a run that time by
26,
Matt Tomczak. The 6', 178-pounder. Look at this stop and go that he does here.
Yeah,
bro.
he does 2 of them. The first one, then comes back out, does that one right there. Then he goes back inside and cuts back to the outside. Big pickup by Tomczak on that.
The Vikings approaching the 300-yard mark as a team for the game on rushing. Of course, we saw an impressive rushing performance by Warsaw last week in their sectional victory over Penn. First and 10 from the Mishawaka 39. They'll hand it off again. Running up the middle, this is Hayden Vineyard, and Vineyard takes it up to the 30-yard line. A pickup of 9 on the play for the sophomore.
For 60 years, Imagineering Finishing Technologies has been the industry knowledge source for metal finishing solutions. They set the standard for industries including automotive, medical, aerospace, and military defense. Go to iftworldwide.com for more info. IFT has earned national accreditation and worldwide respect. Like the teams in tonight's game, we're working for a great finish.
Valparaiso with that big offensive line out there. You see guys like 54 John Hoffer and 79 Ben Scott, those two tackles. Scott squats 500 pounds. Here's the handoff. It's Burby again. Burby bouncing off tacklers, takes it up to about the 25-yard line. Good for the first down.
What I like a lot about that play right there by Burby is just the way he ran the ball. He really covered the ball up with both hands. He was like, you know, I'm just trying to pick up this first down. I'm not going to give the ball back on a turnover here. Did a great job of covering up on that last run.
So Valparaiso down to the Mishawaka 25. And again, the Vikings will just hang out in the huddle, trying to drain as much clock as possible with this running clock, making things go very quickly here in the second half. Tomczak to the left of Opperman. And it's Tomczak on the carry. Bounces out to the outside, gets a block from Osorio, takes it back inside, and takes it all the way down to the 10. So give Tomczak 15 on that carry. He's up to 48 yards for the night.
McDonald Physical Therapy understands that you need less pain, more movement, and better health. They offer the area's top physical therapists and the most up-to-date technology, water therapy, and other cutting-edge treatments to make sure you get the high-quality care you deserve. McDonald Physical Therapy is a proud supporter of high school sports and wishes all the athletes in tonight's game the best of luck.
Looking at first and goal from the 10-yard line here for Valparaiso. Opperman again in the backfield, hands it off. This is Vineyard through a big hole for the touchdown. Hayden Vineyard, a massive crater to run through right up the middle to make it 41-0 Valparaiso.
Just another big hole by that offensive line, opened up, allowed him to hit the seam. Not even sure he got touched going in the end zone on that play.
Vineyard with his 6th rushing touchdown of the season. And Liam Shepard on to try the extra point. Out of the hold of Luke Patterson, the kick is up. It is good. And with 53 seconds to go here in the third quarter, Valparaiso now leads it 42-0.
The caring and experienced professionals at Bub Funeral Chapel offers a range of personalized services. For more information, call 255-3126 or visit them at bubfuneralchapel.com. They were our first down sponsors for tonight's game. We'd like to thank Bub Funeral Chapel for that.
We also want to remind you we'll take our final step on the Tourney Trail. The final game that our crew will produce this year comes next Friday night with the semi-state. We don't know, of course, where we'll be, but we'll check out what the pairings are and make a decision and let you know on our social media pages through Twitter and Facebook. Those seem to get followed pretty well on the weekend when we're making those announcements.
Yeah, got some interesting games going on right now tonight with some score and updates. That Hobart New Prairie game, a little surprising on that. Last I saw was 24-7 Hobart.
In favor of the Brickies, yes. Marion has a 10-0 lead on Knox. Good thing about Marion playing Knox is we know one of those teams is from our area and will be in the semi-state next week. High spinning kick taken back at the 5-yard line by Burris, and he runs it all the way up to the 30. And so Milan Burris helps set up Mishawaka with some decent field position here for the final 30 seconds of the third quarter.
Yeah, it looks like Mishawaka's not even going to send out their offense, and the clock's just going to run out. Well, Andy's calling for the clock to stop there. they do stop the clock on kickoffs on the change of possession. So the clock does stop on that change of possession.
Well, Andy's made it very clear that the clock goes when he says it goes.
Yes.
But that's what makes him a good official. He's able to take charge out there. So with 31 seconds left in the third quarter, Mishawaka with a new quarterback out there. It's Donovan Snyder at quarterback. He pitches to Ethan Fowler. Fowler picks up about 5 on the play. And that will likely do it for the third quarter of play here at here at Steel Stadium. I went back in time.
Yeah. Maybe you're thinking of Justin Fisher, or maybe CJ.
Both the Fisher boys, who were both terrific athletes. But on this night, it's Valparaiso that has dominated things. Hayden Vineyard taking it in for the only score of the third quarter, and the Vikings lead at 42-0 headed to the fourth on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you by Bill's Heating, keeping families and businesses comfortable since 1951. And normally at this point, we'd give you a Bill's Heating sideline report. I'm not sure you could really give any kind of analysis here through 3 quarters of this, but as you take a look at Mishawaka going forward to next year, what do you see as the strengths that Keith Kinder will have to work with? I imagine the first thing is he's got a returning quarterback.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. The stability at quarterback's going to be there for a couple more years. You can see the physicality that Justin Fisher has back there. He's very stable at quarterback. And I think they just plug some guys in here and there as well. They usually, it's next man up. They're wing backs. They get guys in there that are hard-nosed, guys that are fast, guys that are quick, and their defense is the biggest thing. Maybe make some adjustments on that defensive front as well. They got pushed around a little bit tonight.
Donovan Snyder taken down by Jacob Ruska, 6'2", 255-pound senior who can squat 400. Yeah, the weight room is going to be a key for the Cavemen. You take a look at these bodies that Valparaiso has along the front line. Those 2 big defensive ends are both coming back, Jones and Dingman.
Yeah, and they're both just huge guys that can come back. Big-time prospects as well.
Snyder pitches out to Burris, and Burris has nowhere to go because John Fedorchuk, the cornerback, comes up and makes the stop. Fedorchuk, who is a real ball hawk, and he showed it right there, coming up and making the stop. It'll be 4th and 5, and Keith Kinder's going to keep the offense out there, it looks like.
Our timeouts tonight were sponsored by Sika USA. They're a proud sponsor of high school athletics and wishes all the athletes of tonight's game the best of luck. Sika USA, building trust, one RV at a time. Go Cavemen.
Keith talking to the official over on the sideline, which makes me think that he might take a timeout here right before this 4th and 6 play. And that's what he's going to do here with 10:35 to go in the contest. A reminder that Pulse FM has college basketball for you Saturday. We'll start it off at 2 o'clock. Purdue will be on 92-1 and 96-9. The Boilermakers looking for some offense from somebody, and they'll take on Chicago State. And then Saturday night at 8, Indiana continues what they expect to be their victory tour in the non-conference by playing cupcakes, and they'll take on Troy down at Assembly Hall, although I understand the philosophy behind Archie Miller on this because his team needs to build some confidence. Hopefully they can do that Saturday night at 8. Your home for Purdue and IU basketball is Pulse FM 103.1. So it'll be Connor George out to do the punting here for Mishawaka with 10:35 to go. Couple of deep men for Valparaiso, but so far the Vikings have done nothing but fair catch tonight. And they will let this one hit and take a roll, and it'll die at about the 31-yard line. So Mr. George with a 34-yard punt and no return. And Valparaiso will take over.
He's done a good job tonight on the punt. I mean, he's had to punt an awful lot. They're not used to punting the football, the way they won their offense. So he's had to punt an awful lot tonight, and I have to commend him. Their punting team has done a great job tonight.
But typically when the star of the game is your punter.
Yeah.
Now, we did have Hunter Renner from Marion as the star of the game earlier this year, but when the star of the game is your punter, that's usually not the best sign.
Yeah, as we're winding down here, we couldn't do all this, couldn't be possible without our great sponsors week in and week out. And this week, whether you're purchasing a new home or refinancing your current mortgage, call your local and trusted mortgage professional, Kevin Putz of First West Mortgage, 574-287-1152.
Hayden Vineyard with a 13-yard carry that time for a Valparaiso first down. Vineyard now with 8 carries for 71 yards tonight. As it looks like Valparaiso has put the number 2 offensive line out there. And really the only one of the starters that I see out there is Opperman kind of generating this offense right now. So running clock, which we have employed throughout the second half of this one, based on the 35-point lead that Valparaiso had at halftime. Here's the snap to Opperman. He hands it off again. And this time on the carry, that looked like Tomzak that time for the carry for a pickup of 5. So Matt Tomzak has had a good night carrying the football. Who hasn't for Valpo? They have been very impressive, as we've said many times tonight, in every facet of the game. Bill Marshall's team now over 350 yards rushing for the night.
What does that make, 4 or 5 or 6 runners tonight?
They have had 5 different runners.
5 different rushers tonight. Just spreading that ball around, plug and play, get another guy in there. But, of course, Tommy Burby, just a great job tonight.
Here's the snap to Opperman, gives it to Vineyard going around the right side. This time, Mishawaka snuffs it out very well. Is coming over to make the stop for the Cavemen was Gavin Eggendorfer, their defensive tackle. Eggendorfer, a young man who's also a member of the baseball team. 6 foot, 220-pound junior. So he'll be one of the returnees on this defense. And they will have about 5 starters coming back on defense next year.
Yeah, they'll have some tools to work with, both offense and defense next year. Something to build around, a good core to build around.
Opperman will hand it off. This is Vineyard again off the left side. Vineyard still on his feet. Vineyard escapes a tackler. Vineyard spins away. Vineyard finally knocked out of bounds at the 16-yard line. So Hayden Vineyard picks up 36 on the play, and he goes over 100 yards for the night.
Just a great job by Hayden Vineyard, just a sophomore as well. Just a great job of running. I really like that green and white 21 there he's wearing too.
For those of you too young to remember, that was my partner back in the day at Bremen High School.
Great number there.
So Valpo gets it all the way down to the 15-yard line. The clock has stopped here for some reason. I think Valpo might have called a timeout to get some new personnel in the game. Nope, it's still Opperman.
Yeah.
So Andy Simpson running the clock. Here's Vineyard off the right side. Vineyard to the end zone, and that is a Valparaiso touchdown. So Hayden Vineyard with his second touchdown here of the second half. This one coming on a 15-yard run. And Valparaiso will up the count to 48-0.
Wow, what a performance by this Valpo team. And it's just not offense, defense as well. I mean, they have come here to play. One of the things coming in this game we talked about as well when we were off to the side was they played on turf all year. And how would this field affect them?
Not at all.
Not a bit.
Liam Shepard with the extra point. It's up and good. 7:48 to go with this one. And the Vikings up the lead to 49-0. We're back with the rest of the 46 game of the week after this. This edition of the TV46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you in part by the Indiana High School Athletic Association, partnering with TV46 for 30 years. Chuck Freeby and Bo Hunt back with you from Steel Stadium in Mishawaka. 49-0 in favor of Valparaiso. The Vikings will be moving on to the 5A semi-state, picking up a regional title here tonight. Liam Shepard and the kickoff unit out there on the field, ready to put it into play one more time. Valparaiso above its average, and they're 8th in the state in scoring this year with 43.5 points per game. They've done nothing to harm that tonight, as Mishawaka's Kanan Jewett was on the return that time. So the Cavemen getting some fresh uniforms into the game, and it'll be 1st and 10 from the 24-yard line.
Yeah, this might be the could possibly be the last offensive possession for the Cavemen, so this might be a time where Keith Kinder gets some of his guys come off the field one at a time, maybe his seniors, and get subs in.
He'll send Donovan Snyder, a senior, out there to play quarterback right now because Justin Fisher was hobbled most of the night. But we do see some uniforms out there that we're not used to seeing. Number 99, John Whalen, out there right now. Snyder has had a very solid career here at Mishawaka. He'll keep it himself on the pitch. Got a little loose with the football that time. And the stop made by Colin Kwiatkowski, a junior outside linebacker, after a pickup of about 6 on the play.
Yeah, good run by Donovan Snyder there. Just a great job, good pickup. Great to see him in there at quarterback here in his final year at Mishawaka.
2nd and 4. Don, 3-sport athlete here at Mishawaka, always reminded to have fun. His dad, a former college soccer player. Snyder hands it off here, and ooh, what a hit. Drew Mason took that time as the middle of that line came in on Drew hard.
Snyder's come from a big family, know a bunch of the Snyder boys. Jackson Snyder, one of the younger ones in 7th grade. Great 3-sport athlete as well.
Take a look at the hit here. So Adam Rogers wrapped him up, and he had help that time from Mason McMullen. So 3rd and 3 here for the Cavemen with 6.5 to go. Snyder keeps it, and he's hit hard by Mason Jones that time, the freshman defensive end, but not before Don Snyder gets a 1st down. Sponsored by Bub Funeral Chapel up to the 35-yard line.
Good movement by this Caveman offense, just kind of get a little momentum here.
They did one time tonight have a drive that went down into Valparaiso territory and then fumbled in the red zone. And that's as close as they've come to denting the scoreboard this evening.
Yeah, I don't think they've crossed midfield other than that drive.
Snyder gives it off to Drew Mason. Mason gets a little push from his offensive line and picks up about 2 on the play. Bo Hunt will be heading downstairs to get ready for our post-game show. He'll be interviewing Tommy Burby after the game here for Valparaiso, our IU South Bend fulfilling the promise player of the game. As you look at Mason, also a member of the baseball team here at Mishawaka. It's Fowler in motion, and Ethan Fowler takes the pitch, tries to go around the left side, stays in bounds, gets by a tackler, and finally bumped out of bounds by Big Mason Jones, the 6'6", 190-pound freshman. And we've got a flag down on the play. That'll stop the clock with 5:04 to go as we'll sort this out. I think they might be calling Valparaiso for a late hit here after Fowler had stepped out of bounds, but we're not sure. Andy Simpson and Kevin Mikes will talk it over, and Andy says no flag on the play. So that'll set up a 3rd and short here for Mishawaka, 3rd and 3. Don Snyder looking over to the sidelines to get the play from Keith Kinder. Snyder, a big fan of the Naval Academy. They'll be in action, of course, Saturday afternoon at Notre Dame Stadium in a top 25 showdown against the Fighting Irish. Clock running now at 3rd and 3. Snyder looked like he wants to throw, trying to roll out, find a receiver, in trouble, heaves it down the field. It's intercepted by Valparaiso. Blake Lemon comes over and gets his second pick of the night. Oh, he had 2 interceptions in their win over Crown Point earlier this season, and Lemon with another 2-pick night. So Snyder trying to make something happen here, but Lemon was able to read the play beautifully, stepped right in front of Ethan Fowler and made the grab. That is the 4th turnover of the night for the Cavemen. They said ball security would be a factor in this game, and it has been for Mishawaka. So the backup quarterback in now for Valparaiso. And Logan Lockhart will hand it off. No gain on the play here as Burris comes up and makes the stop.
No gain.
And Burris makes the stop that time on Dylan Rodriguez. So Rodriguez, carrying for only the 8th time this season, is a sophomore. As you take a look at Logan Lockhart, 5'11", 160 pounds and a sophomore, more than likely the Valparaiso quarterback next season after Opperman graduates. 2nd and 10. Lockhart hands it off, and again up the middle. Valparaiso not getting very creative here with this 49-point lead and less than 4 minutes to go. Gavin Eggendorfer in on the stop of Dylan Rodriguez that time. Eggendorfer, 16 tackles on the year coming into the night, but does a good job of tying things up so that the linebackers come up and make stops. It'll be 3rd and 10. And a timeout called by Keith Kinder on the field with 3:23 to go. The timeout is sponsored by Sika. Well, a reminder, our partner Bob Nagel, while he has not been with us as much during football season as we would like, still on the mic for Notre Dame women's basketball home games, and he's got one coming up on Wednesday night when Muffet McGraw's Irish try to get back in the win column as the Toledo Rockets come to Purcell Pavilion. It's a 7 o'clock tip-off, and you can hear all the action on 92.1 and 96.9 Pulse FM. We'll check some scores from around the area. I can tell you that Marion still clinging to that 10-0 lead on Knox as that game is in the 4th quarter. And Hobart still with a 24-7 lead on New Prairie as that game approaches halftime. East Noble now on top of Mississinewa by a count of 30-14. Here on 3rd down is the handoff to the running back Joel Russell. Russell, a sophomore, picks up about 2 on the play. And so it'll be 4th down and a punt situation here for Valparaiso as they'll send Mason Maple out to punt. So Valparaiso will move on to face Fort Wayne Bishop Dwenger next week as the Saints win their regional tonight down at Harrison High School. Also tonight, Ben Davis beat Zionsville by a count of 28-7 in the 6A Southern Regional. This punt by Maple is down at the 22-yard line with 2:35 to go. Bishop Chittard, a 56-28 winner over Fort Wayne Concordia. Chittard will take on the winner of that Marion-Knox game. And the last report we had, Marion had a 10-0 lead on Knox midway through the 4th quarter. It is now 17-0 in favor of Marion. Gabe Kerr to Jason Johnson on a 17-yard touchdown for the Knights. So Mishawaka will send out the offense for one more series here. And it looks like Max Mikkelon-Furstenecht will take the snap here for Mishawaka. Mikkelon-Furstenecht is a sophomore, 5'9" and 146 pounds. And he hands it off, and the stop made after a pickup of 1 as Mishawaka gave it off to Chaz Hardy that time. So Mishawaka running some fresh JV personnel out there on the field, giving them a chance to play in this game. I'm just glad that I've been able to say Mikkelon von Furstenecht all right tonight. Mikkelon von Furstenecht is a 5'9", 146-pound sophomore. We'll just call him Max. He's got Chaz Hardy behind him in the backfield. And Hardy takes the handoff and goes forward for about 2 more yards there to set up a 3rd and 6. Valparaiso will take on Bishop Dwenger in the semi-state next week. Boy, that should be a head knocker. Of course, Bishop Dwenger, the state champ a year ago in Class 5A. And Valparaiso went to the semi-state in 6A last season. So that North semi-state be a fun one to watch. If you're just a casual football fan looking for a game, that might not be a bad one next week. 3rd and 5 here for the Cavemen as we go into the final seconds of this one. The pitch goes to the outside. This is Brandon Pearson on the carry. And the senior picks up about a yard, and they'll keep the clock moving here. Meanwhile, Bishop Chittard will be at Mishawaka Marion next week. As Marion with that 17-0 lead on Knox now, late in the 4th. They've ended 3 quarters of play over in Merrillville. The Pirates with a 28-21 lead on Warsaw. And Merrillville has it 1st and goal at the Tiger 8 as they go to the 4th. So Mishawaka does not have to run another play, and they won't. The Valparaiso Vikings reign as the 5A regional champions tonight, having knocked off the Cavemen here at Steele Stadium by a final score of 49-0. When we return, we'll have our post-game festivities, including our IU South Bend Fulfilling the Promise Player of the Game and our Electrical Workers Local 153 Electrifying Play of the Game. It's all next on the 46 Game of the Week.
Thanks for watching the WHME TV 46 High School Game of the Week, brought to you by
The celebration ensues for the Valparaiso Vikings, regional champions in Class 5A. Bill Marshall's team coming over to Mishawaka tonight and blanking the Cavemen by a count of 49-0. A very impressive performance by Valpo, which will now face Fort Wayne Bishop Dwenger in the 5A semi-state next week. As you see the regional champion sign put on the board here at Steele Stadium. Chuck Freeby with you high above the fray. We've got a lot to cover in our postgame. Let's go back down to the field where we'll meet our IU South Bend Fulfilling the Promise Player of the Game. Bo Hunt is standing by with the very talented Tommy Burby.
Standing by with our player of the game, Tommy Burpee. Hey, first off, you guys are going back to semi-state. What does this feel like?
I'm glad that we get to pick up where our last seniors, I just want to make it the best season for these seniors because I got another year. They don't have that. I just need to make it this season, all the way, state.
You had over 200 yards rushing in the first half. How were you able to do that against this defense?
It's all determination. They were cutting our line, but our line, they just kept going. They, brushed them off their ankles, and, they really helped me just get to that end zone.
Just a fantastic victory. What does it feel like to come out to this field and win over here in Mishawaka?
Overall, score doesn't matter. Nothing matters. I'm just glad that we came out with a victory and that we get to move on to semi-state.
Thanks for your time. I'll let you go celebrate.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Lots of pictures being taken down on that field right now for Valparaiso, and you can understand why, as the Vikings enjoy this 49-0 win, and it's time now to look at our electrical workers, Local 153 electrifying play of the game. And it happened on just the second possession of the game from Tommy Burby, who takes the handoff here and will just go behind that offensive line, hurdle one guy, make a tackler miss, and then use his speed to get to the outside and race 70 yards for the score. Burby would have 232 yards on 14 carries tonight with 3 touchdowns, and that's our electrical workers electrifying play of the game. I know we saw Dwenger last year, and we were impressed. We saw Valpo this year, and we're impressed. Any early thoughts on that game?
It's going to be one heck of a game next week between those two. Two quality teams going at each other. And, you know, tonight we saw what Valpo is all about. I mean, we heard it coming in this game that, you know, it's going to be a tough task for the Cavemen tonight. And everything had to go right. And not a whole lot went right for Cavemen early in this game.
No, but they finish 8-4, and they finish with back-to-back sectional championships. And I think Keith Kinder has something he can build upon here at Mishawaka. And we've got one more step along the tourney trail. Where we'll be next week could be over at Tulski Field. Marion will be home taking on Bishop Chatard, that team we saw back in week 2. Could be a fun one over in Mishawaka. We'll see and make the announcement on social media later this week. Hey, our thanks to our TV 46 crew who did another great job out here in the freezing cold. The bubbly one, Tony Beltran, down running things with the help from a new cast of characters. I can't say it's the usual one. We've got lots of bodies coming in. Dan Palmer working on audio tonight. We appreciate him as well. Reminder, college football on the radio Saturday. Indiana goes to Penn State to try to get a win in Happy Valley. That one is at noon on 103.1 FM. And then a college basketball doubleheader at 2 o'clock on 92.1 and 96.9. Chicago State at Purdue. At 8 o'clock on 103.1, it's Troy at Indiana. Once again, the final score from here at Venerable Steel Stadium in Mishawaka. Valparaiso reigns as the 5A regional champ, beating the Cavemen 49-0. For Bo Hunt, Chuck Freeby, thanks for watching, and so long from the Princess City.